tell us about how the eviction went.
Went as painless as could be expected, as could be hoped for. They came down and Sheriff said the paperwork and told us it was going to be a few days later that we would be asked to leave.
Morning.
Hello.
Hi. No, it's nothing to sign. Just it's for the 91 person. Yeah. Okay. Is that's the first one down, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, I'm going to the policeman! They're fucking hurt! I got a broken fucking neck! They're fucking pushing!
Do you want to be tased? Do you want to be tased?
I believe it was the 5th of July, the day after 4th of July. And they came down, they gave us an hour to clear out our stuff. And then they came back, I think it was either Friday or Saturday. This was Friday. Gave us another hour. We got as much stuff out as we could. Obviously we couldn't get everything out of there. And but it was traumatic for me just because I don't like the idea of somebody being in my stuff and taking my stuff and taking my land. But they didn't hurt us, they didn't chain us, they didn't do anything like that, so didn't arrest me.
And what was the reason they gave for taking the property?
I couldn't pay my taxes. They've blocked off my fire lane for the last 2 years, so I have no income to pay taxes with because I used to rent out my property, but now I can't. I've got no fire lane, no driveway, and can't really rent out rooms in that situation.
And what's your plan going forward?
Well, I'm going to try to redeem the property by raising money and buy it back, pay the tax penalty. Unfortunately, they've assessed an additional $16,000 based on the value of the property. And then as soon as they took possession of the property, they say they're going to bulldoze the buildings. So I can't understand how they appraised them so high and now they're going to say they're worth nothing and tear them down. But it's when they change hats, they don't have to make sense.
And so you made an appearance at the select board meeting last week. How did that go?
I thought it went pretty well. I don't think anybody saw it, but I got out the information about the fire chief. The deputy fire chief admitted it was actually during the eviction process, he came down, and he's also the health officer for the town of Hanover. He was down here and he admitted, there were about 5 or 6 town workers there, he admitted that he had been ordered by the town not to talk to me. And that's been 20 months I've been seeking help from him, the town health officer and deputy fire chief, to clear my fire lane or to at least inspect it, and he had refused. And he admitted it was because he's been ordered not to talk to me. So I think that's criminal. I don't know how a safety officer can refuse to talk to the public about safety issues, but he has. Whether he's been ordered to or not, he still has a duty to the public.
And did you did the town respond to any of your allegations?
They don't respond, except the head of the select board, Mr. Christie, admitted that their decision to stop dumping asphalt waste wasn't because they don't want to dump asphalt waste. It was because the cost of getting the asphalt waste is going up because they can take it back to be recycled into new asphalt, which I believe they always could. But for some reason, he said the cost dynamics made it likely that they're not going to accept asphalt waste anymore. So it's a good thing that for whatever reason they stopped dumping the asphalt waste. It's good as far as I'm concerned. I came last month and asked you specifically, Peter, to let me know about whether Hanover is going to continue accepting asphalt waste gifts, I guess you would call them, from Hypertherm or other area businesses, L&M Construction, Mata Construction, others. And you told me you would get back to me with that answer, but I haven't heard anything from you.
Yes, yes, we will. I will tell you, we will also be getting back to you in writing, so you have it. But our change to not using recycled asphalt was a function of cost,
Yes.
not a function of a change in our policy, per se.
And anything else you'd like to add?
Well, Mr. Christie, once again, even last month I had asked them for information on the dumping program, and he said he'd get back to me. I've chronicled the use of this material, and I hope that it's true that it's no longer going to be used by the town. I would like somebody from your board to comment on whether or not this material is going to be continued to be used, or whether asphalt waste is going to be no longer collected and ground up by the town for use on road projects where it can enter into the water of the state, violation of law.
We will respond to you, David, in due course. It means we will get back to you in answering that question, but I will not answer it tonight.
Okay, thank you. And now, at this second meeting, he said that they would get back to me with about my other questions. So when they came down to open up or to evict me from the property, Mr. Hensley came, and I was surprised to see him since he had failed to talk to me for all this time, and he told me that he had been ordered. He repeated it 3 times. Said he was ordered not to speak to me. Okay, now the only 2 people I can assume above Mr. Hensley are the fire chief and Julia Griffin. Those are the only 2 people I can imagine who could order him not to speak to a citizen. Now, I've questioned you repeatedly on the fact that the town manager has a policy that all town officials are supposed to speak openly and honestly. And I've put this on the record multiple times, and at the town meeting and in this board. And now I find out that a public official who's responsible for the safety of the citizens and fire protection was ordered not to speak to a citizen who's a disabled veteran on their property for 20 months with a blockaded driveway. Now that's criminal. And this board assured me that the policy of honesty for town officials had not changed. Julia told me specifically, although she did say that her assistant made a mistake in the town order that how things were written. But there's something wrong when town officials who have the responsibility of safety for the public are not allowed to speak to members of the public. And I just wanted to hear if you have any reason why it would be proper for a town official, health and safety. Mr. Hensley is the town health officer, I believe. I'm trying to understand who allowed him to refuse to come and meet with me and talk to me about the conditions I'm living in.
Thank you for your input, David. We will look into that and get back with you as well.
Okay. Well, you've never gotten back to me on anything before, but I hope you do. Thank you.
Other public comment.
Full public comments, please.
But I'm not sure if that's what he was referring to when I just got a letter Friday saying they're going to tear down the building. So I'm not sure if that's what he's referring to because it didn't answer any of the questions I had asked earlier. So I imagine there's still letters coming from him and from the town housing officer also. Is supposed to give me a letter explaining how we're allowed to go in and out through the property at 91 Lebanon Street, whether we are or not. But that hasn't come. He said he was putting it in the mail, probably Tuesday. So it's been most of a week and I still haven't received it. So I guess he hasn't sent it.